Spring of ash and green follows the household as winter reluctantly releases its grip, only to reveal the full cost of survival in the muddy, difficult season of thaw and repair. The story opens with the first sounds of melting ice and dripping roofs, but the relief of spring is deceptive. Instead of ease, the settlement faces exposure, damaged fences, spoiled feed, weakened animals, sagging roofs, and the lingering human toll of a hard winter. Astrid, ever practical, organizes the counting and repair work, while Erik shoulders the public decisions. The household is exhausted, irritable, and newly vulnerable as old tensions surface in the open air. Mud season brings practical crises and emotional strain. Sled runners break, animals injure themselves in softened pens, and every repair draws from already depleted resources. The stores, already short from winter, show continuing discrepancies. Small thefts and quiet acts of mercy during the cold months are revealed, culminating in the discovery that one man, Torvald, took grain for a widow and her children without permission. This forces a painful reckoning between law, mercy, and trust. Astrid and Erik must balance accountability with compassion, ultimately requiring Torvald to make restitution while addressing the real need he tried to meet in secret. The episode deepens the household's awareness that survival had quietly eroded internal trust. Leif's growth is central. Eager to prove himself a man, he chafes at being kept from serious tasks. When given a simple errand with a horse, he overreaches, nearly injuring the animal and earning a sharp correction from Erik. The incident marks a turning point. Leif begins to understand that readiness is not proven by eagerness alone, but by restraint and judgment. His desire for recognition evolves from childish impatience into something more serious and self-aware. Astrid's authority grows visibly and at a cost. As she directs repairs, rationing, and the moral accounting of the stores, her influence becomes impossible to ignore. This draws resentment and open challenge from some in the hall, who accuse her of wielding too much sway over Erik. She pays the social price of being a woman whose competence cannot be hidden, praise when convenient, blame when difficult. Yet her steady hand, practical, honest, and unflinching, helps hold the household together through grief and uncertainty. A death in spring deepens the emotional weight. Halla, one of the older women who quietly sustained the hall's daily order, succumbs to illness worsened by winter strain. Her passing forces the household to confront how hardship had been quietly killing its members. It also underscores Astrid's growing centrality, as she steps into more of the invisible labor Halla once carried. External threat emerges with sightings of armed strangers on the southern road. What begins as tracks and a distant camp escalates into a tense standoff with displaced people and rival claims on shared land. Erik must decide between caution and decisive action. With Astrid's counsel, he chooses measured response over rash confrontation. After weeks of watching and negotiation, the two sides reach a fragile first oath, a boundary agreement, shared warnings, and seasonal passage rights. It is not victory or friendship, but a hard-won pause that allows both households to survive another season. The book closes on a note of earned survival rather than triumph. Summer's light has returned, but the household is changed, wiser, scarred, and more aware of its fragility. Leif has taken meaningful steps toward manhood. Astrid's role is now openly acknowledged, though at personal cost. Erik has learned the